diversifying and expanding your network today. What is the first objection people say when you bring them a network marketing business? I don't know anybody. I don't know that many people. I don't know anybody that would buy skincare. So everybody has a network. You just have to figure out how to tap into it and expand it. So I'm a visual learner. I like to draw things out. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to draw my network, kind of a sketch, okay? So you put yourself in the middle here, and then you're going to kind of branch off. Okay, I have 4 kids, and I have a network that goes along with each of them. So I would start with making 4 branches. Okay? My husband offers another network, whether he likes it or not. My former employer, I was an NICU nurse, so that would be another network that I would have. I volunteer a lot. We belong to a church. Our neighborhood. I can keep going here, but you get the idea. So you need to tap into all the different areas that you have in your life that you know people from, okay? And then I would go back to my kids and then make, okay, so my son he's currently on 4 different basketball teams. So I have 4 networks right there. They're all different networks. I would list everyone that belongs on those teams. He also plays football. He plays travel baseball. He's in 6th grade. You get the idea. So he has a network branching off of here for me that I can tap into. My daughter, I would do the same thing. Even the baby has a little bit of a network for me. Okay. My husband also. He works. He's the AD at our school. He coaches. Okay. So there's a lot of networks here that he provides for me as well. My old job kind of speaks for itself. My volunteering. I do a lot of other things. So I would make networks off of there. Okay, so you're going to eventually have names all over this paper, right, for people you know. And you would take those names and put them on like a legal pad or something. That's what I like to use. So if I had all my names, let's just write all my people here. Okay, you have all these names on your list. Your list should be like, 100 or more than that, maybe 200 people. I would take those names and stick them into my calendar, just on the side of your calendar, in the scraps of your calendar, okay? And every month, I would work on messaging these people. As I message them, I cross them off. If they purchase something from me or become a consultant with me or something, I would circle them. If they don't have a circle at the end of the month, I flip over next month and I write their name again. Okay? So that's kind of how I keep track of who's responded to me and who hasn't. Responded meaning purchased something or joined my team. So I message people once a month until they answer me. Until they tell me no or they become a customer or consultant, okay? So that's kind of how a lot of people say, how do you keep organized with who you message and who you haven't? And that's all I do. I just move into the next month until they respond. So what do you do for messaging then? Okay, so you kind of have 3 phases of messaging. If you listen to Bob Heilig, his Periscopes, he talked about, I think it was today, it may have been yesterday, he talked about having an account. You think of your relationship with these people like having an account. So you have to make deposits into that account before you can make a withdrawal. You can't just ask people to purchase your product if you don't have a relationship with them. So you have to make deposits into that account. So some of your messages may have absolutely nothing to do with your business or your products or Rodan and Fields at all. It might just be like, hey, did you guys have a good 4-day weekend? What did you do for Valentine's Day? Period. Done. You've made a deposit. They may respond to you with something, and you can keep that conversation going, okay? So your first message is an intro. If you've already made deposits into that account and you have a relationship with that person, you can maybe bring up Rodan and Fields. Most of the people on your list, I guarantee, know that you do this business, so you can probably start with Rodan and Fields with those people. Something very simple. You may have seen my posts. We've talked about the eye cream, something. something that you can start the conversation with. Just very simple. I like to keep my messages under 3 sentences. I don't want to bombard people with information that they don't need, because what's going to happen? They're going to get lost. They're going to ignore you. They don't want to read all that. You don't have time for it, neither do they. So 3 sentences. When you're sending kind of your intro message, I always do something personal. Whether you're bringing up your company or not, always send something personal. Like I said, we just had a long weekend. The kids were out of school. You could say, what did you guys do on Monday for break? What did you do for Valentine's Day? Or, Zachary played a great game on Saturday for the tournament. Something personal that they feel like you're connecting with them. People want to feel like it's a two-way relationship. You're not just trying to sell them something. You're trying to provide them something. So make it personal. They also feel like they have to respond to you if you make it personal, whereas they may just ignore you if you're only trying to sell them something. Number 2, the second message that you might send. You have talked to them about your products. The conversation has happened and developed into the products, okay? So your second message may be something more like information. What the regimen does, what product they need, etc. So this is product or business, if that's what you're talking with them about, info. Okay? Still, you need to keep it around 3 sentences. You can't send paragraphs to people. Nobody wants to read that. Okay? I only give them information that they're asking for. I'm not going to verbally vomit at you. If you're not asking me that question, I'm not going to answer it. So, step 2 or message 2 is product or business responses that I have already asked you questions about. And step 3 is kind of your close. Okay? Maybe you don't feel like the customer is ready to close. Maybe you feel like they've ignored you since message number 2. But you can easily go in and say something like, hey, Katie, I'm putting in a few orders this afternoon around 2 o'clock. I'd love to include yours. That was 1 sentence. It tells them that you're ready. It basically asks them if they're ready. And they may feel like they need to respond to you. I'm not ready today. I'll check back with you next week. Or, yeah, I am ready to go ahead and get that predefined regimen. Let's do it. What do you need? So hopefully number 3 will give you some sort of a response. If you're not there, as far as that message, you can say something like, I'm scheduling copies this week. I have availability on Thursday and Friday. Let me know if you have time to meet up. If you feel like they want to do something in person, some people do. Or if you feel like you need to have a business conversation with that person, sometimes that's easier face-to-face also. So identifying your network is something that you should do on a frequent basis, especially when you start the business, but then maybe like once a season or once a month if you have time to sit down and do that, because your network evolves as you get involved in things. If your network is small because you're not involved in a lot of things, then you need to seek opportunities for that, like volunteering, or maybe go to all your kids' events if you're not one that does. Just sitting on the bleachers at a basketball game, you're going to interact with so many people and get names and see faces all the time. And that can easily develop your relationships. So seek out opportunities. Go to church. You should go to church anyway, but you should definitely go to church. You should definitely start networking and making relationships with people at church. You should know the kids' parents in your kids' classes. You should be volunteering if you have time. Even just something small, once a month or something, will give you a little bit more of a network that you can expand on. And you have to remember to, I loved that when Bob said that about accounts, thinking about like checking accounts. You have to make deposits in people's accounts. You can't just expect to make withdrawals all the time. People are going to come to you if they trust you, and they're not going to trust you if you're just schlepping stuff at them all the time. So you have to build that relationship and talk about other things besides your network marketing business or your products. So that's it. That's all I've got. Do you guys have any questions?
Yes, sir. How do you decide who to have a product conversation or a business conversation?
Lead with the business. Everybody's a business opportunity. You know, my consultants on my team who are more successful than some of the others are people that came to me, or people that I wouldn't have expected, people that maybe I only led with the product, and then later they said something about the business. And I thought, why didn't I ask them that 4 months ago, So I always lead with the business. I make people aware of the fact that, yes, I have retired myself with this business, and I'd love to share it with you. If you're not ready for that opportunity, let's get you started on the reverse schedule. That's it. I put it out there. If they want to come back with questions, they can. But I always put that out there first.
What if they already are in a direct marketing company?
Well, if they're already in a direct marketing company, are they successful? Are they happy? Are they still working another job? Our company is very unique. It's not like other direct sale companies, that. So we have something we can offer that a lot of other companies can't. Especially if you have a friend who's doing parties constantly, or carrying inventory, or making deliveries, or those kinds of things, because we don't have time for. Our company offers, a business without all that. So I still prospect people who have their own direct sale companies.
And I think what she tapped on, if you haven't listened to Bob Heilig, I don't know if you guys know Bob Heilig, but he does a Heilig.
Yeah.
He has a website, but he does a Periscope every morning at
7:30
Central on Periscope. So this morning he talked about just like kind of. Sorry. I don't. Okay. So now it's like my head. All right. So Bob Heilig this morning talked about just like what you were talking about, how you have to make those deposits, but how if you have not been a person that has really tried to form relationships with other people, if you have not gone out of your way to help other people, then you need to start there first. You need to start by becoming that person. You need to start by creating those relationships. Because like she said, you can't just jump in and start selling to people or asking people to join you in business if they don't have that idea of you in their head. People join people who they love and they trust. And they feel like they get to know. My sister all the time tells me I post way too much stuff, but people know my life. People get excited by that. And people they gravitate towards that. So if you're not open and you're not sharing what's going on in your life, what this business is doing for you, people are not as apt to join you, okay? Because remember, they do have choices. They don't have to go with you. And, they can shop around. So you want to make sure that you are coming across as that person. But I really I was going to ask you, so when you do your intro, how long do you wait then to follow up? Is it a whole month if you don't get an answer?
That depends, I guess. Like, we just did an eye cream challenge. So if I messaged you last week and you didn't answer me, but I see that you read it, I like Facebook that does that. I will come back to you and say, hey, Jen, I know that I sent you a message last week. I don't want to bombard you. I just want to let you know that we're doing an eye cream special right now. It's $55. I'll ship it to you. Let me know if I can add you to my order. Done. She doesn't have to respond. It's an open-ended statement. But I just messaged her a week ago, so I don't want to be a salesperson yet. Okay, so that's what I would do. And then if I didn't have anything like that, I could add. I would wait until the following month. Yeah.
And so then, if you've had somebody that's interested in the business, like tonight, we're doing a virtual event. So what kind of message would you send to someone like that? Maybe you want to just use that as your.
I would say something simple. Obviously, saying like, okay, we're having a webinar tonight. A virtual event. You can stay at home. You can get all the information at home. But everything that you need to know about this business is going to be presented tonight online. So it's live at 9 o'clock. Get on at your convenience, and I want to chat with you tomorrow morning about it. That leaves it open also, so they can get on. It puts it on them. You get on and get the information you're seeking, and then we can talk about it later. Barb?
Okay, so I have a big and this is weeded out by a consultant. I've been working on this. But obviously, I've been working and I've been out of my kid activities, except for grandsons, for quite some time. And really what brought this home to me is I need to open up my network because my best friend died a year ago. And she lived in California, but yes, we had broken our connections and it really was rough. So I'm starting to connect back to high school, some from noticing her and starting to talk and all that stuff with what has become a PC. But I'm still working and it's killing me, so I don't have a lot of volunteer energy or things like that. So it's always like, Okay, so do I wait until I contact them, every one of these, and start getting a warm relationship going? I know when we go to business presentation things, they always say, right now, you take 10 lists, message people. Well, to me, that's very wrong. Because they haven't heard from me and how this might be working. So,
But you can also use that as your introduction. Here's what I'm doing now. What are you doing now? I'm still a nurse. I'm still at the hospital, but I'm also doing this business adventure so that I can retire early. What do you have going on in your life? You're not prospecting to them per se. You're not selling them anything. You're just giving them parts of your life that they may be interested in, but it also might pique their interest as well. So you're not being a salesperson, but you are putting it out there that you have this other thing that's going to help you retire early.
And I think with you, you just have to go back and form those relationships again. Like how Bob was talking, you need to just reconnect and focus your time. That's why I gave you that list and I said, you need to meet with coffee, you need to do drinks. And if people don't, like she's had people who haven't responded then for coffee and drinks. They don't respond on Facebook. Some people really just don't use Facebook.
Yeah.
And so you have to sometimes pick up the phone.
I don't have phone numbers from most, so because the
Text
connections back
or
in the
email.
hospital, they married and had 3 kids and 2 houses. So that's all
But
I
maybe
have.
they would respond to a message of, hey, I would love to reconnect with you. Can you send me your phone number so I can call you
Yes.
or something like that? They
Shannon
may
just did a
respond
call
to
about
that
that.
better.
They also, Bob also talked about handwritten notes, how we don't get handwritten notes anymore. So you can send a little card and just say, you know what, I just been thinking about you. I want to see how you're doing. I would love to schedule lunch. Maybe here's my phone number or however you want to make that connection. But that handwritten note, honestly, like when you get those in the mail, and I'm so bad about that too. When you get that makes the world. And when I took a real estate class, trying to reconnect and build our network, we had to do 10 notes a week, 10 handwritten notes a week, and it made all the difference. And honestly, that's why I got a lot of clients, because I was reconnecting with people. I was telling them, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'd love to tell you more. And sticking my card in there. My business card now doesn't even have Rodina Fields on it. Or my purses. My business card is very vague now. And so they kind of are like, well, what is she doing? So my business card doesn't even say Rodina Fields anymore. It actually has my company name on it. And it just has company name on it. And then on the back, so it has our email, we have our website, and then our Facebook pages only. And then on the back, it has a picture of us. Sorry, I'm not a camera person, obviously. Then it just says connect with us. And we have our personal website on there, and it just tells you like what we do. So I can pass these around if you want to see them. So that's another thing too, an address. But you can still, whitepages.com?
Yeah.
More than likely you can get addresses.
Google can tell you anything. A lot of phone numbers are on Google, which you may not realize. But the handwritten note thing, especially for people you went to high school with, there was no email, texting, Facebook at that time. They're going to feel like you took extra time as opposed to then if you just sent a Facebook message. I've done a lot of audio messages on Facebook.
I love that.
I do too.
I started doing that and I
It's
see
quicker.
results out of it.
It's quicker and people, yes, Abby, people think you spent more time or you personally connected with them in a different way than if you just typed out a quick message.
I love your audio 20th of the month.
Yes.
Not only does that save you time, but also personalizes
Yes.
time or mind.
I had people say last month, oh my gosh, I loved hearing your voice.
Right.
Because I hadn't actually seen them in person in a decade, but I sent them this reminder, hey, your auto ship's coming on the 20th, what do you need? And I said something personal. I always say something personal. Looks like, you're having a great soccer season or something. And that message that I got back was, oh my gosh, I loved hearing your voice. It was so good to hear from you, or whatever. So just hitting that button even is better than typing a
And
message.
some people don't know it exists, so when they get something like that,
They're like, woo! I had like a note in the mail. They'd be like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Yes.
Second Becky, and I didn't teach you it today. You just do something.
So, I know, like, a lot of people say they have a small network. And you tap into your network really fast, and you feel like you've gone through that network, you feel like you have
No,
nothing?
I touched my
Okay, so it's just getting outside your comfort zone and just taking the big leap, taking that step and just starting contacting. So people have three networks. They have their professional network, their personal network, and their social network. A lot of people will go through their professional and personal networks really quick. Most people. Because they feel comfortable in talking to them about their business. It's that social network that people don't tap into. It's an untapped resource. And that's another big thing where it's getting out of your comfort zone and being able to go onto different apps. There's a lot of apps. There's an app for like Central Illinois. It's like Meetup Central Illinois, where it's like going to do paintings and getting with these groups and expanding that social network so you can reach more people. It's just step outside that comfort zone and just be confident in yourself and knowing what you're doing has an end state, has a goal, and you'll get past that hump and you'll be able to do what Amelia just talked about and run through that whole thing very fast and be able to get those prospects.
How do you take your messages from Facebook and turn them into a conversation when you physically see the person? So like I can be really brave on Facebook in a private message, but then to bring that up when I see that person when they haven't responded but I like read it, how do you bridge that? Yeah.
Well,
That's when I get all nervous and sweaty and feel
I have messed this up. I'm sorry, I'm not a techie person. You have to keep that mindset that you're not selling something, you're offering a gift. You're offering something that could change that person's life. Either their skin or their just life in general. So you have to get past the idea that you're selling them something because that makes you go, oh, I don't want to say this. I don't want to tell them this. I don't want to share this with them. I don't want them to feel pressured into buying this.
Yes, that's the thing. I don't want people to feel like that's all I'm ever going to talk to them about is rooting in fields.
Which is why you have to make those deposits so that you have a conversation about something else. Your kids, your work, whatever your connection with that person is, you have to be able to have a conversation about that. And then that Rhodiana Fields is going to get into it because that's your life. I mean, you're working to retire yourself. And so that's a big thing that you can offer somebody else too. It's a gift. You're not selling something, you're sharing a gift with someone.
and I think too, it's not like, so when you see people out in public, like, I'm not gonna originally like automatically be like,
Yes.
did you get my message? So like a lot of
Don't be
times
creepy.
we don't even talk about it in
Yes.
person. And then I see them later and I'm like, oh, you know what, it was so good to see you. Because I do remember, or we talked a little bit on Facebook a little while, or it reminded me that we started having this conversation. And that's how you can kind of bring it in. But if I meet people like at the gym or at a group or something, I'm always adding people on Facebook and I'm letting them just kind of watch, So you're not, like we want to add them and we want to message them right away. Unless we've had that conversation, like there was a lady that I met at a party and we actually did talk about what I did and she was interested. So then I actually went home, rented her, sent her information. But otherwise, I'm not really going to say anything. I might, just a nice quick follow-up, it was really nice to meet you, blah, 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 and leave it at that. I do actually remember when Bob Heilig and I became friends on Facebook, he sent me a personal message, so good to connect with you, or something like that. And I was like,
Did he write this himself?
I know. So that is another thing. And I'm not good about that, but I should probably, even Rhodiana Fields people, I probably should do that because you never know as your business expands and as you grow and as you do other things, they may sometimes become a contact for something else. So that's another thing too, is when thank you for accepting my friendship. Leave it at that,
I'm excited to connect with you, period.
Right.
Done. 2 sentences.
It has to be personal.
And if they say, well, how do you know me or something like that, I guess you just kind of say, you really look like someone that I would love to, you could bring it up. Like, you really look like someone that's very well connected. I have an opportunity I'd like to share with you.
I've had people ask me that. How do we know each other? And I'm like, I don't remember. each other.
I had somebody message, I had added this friend that I saw on somebody else's Facebook, and with me, going back a few years, 33 at OSF, there's a lot of names that are familiar, but trying to put a face to them, so that name seemed very familiar, so I friend requested them, and then she wrote back, how do you know me that you're asking your friend requesting me or something? I didn't reply even because I looked and we had several mutual friends. So
that's usually my answer. We have a lot of friends in common. I'm just expanding my network. It's good to see you, or good to chat with you, or I hope you're having a great day, or something easy like that.
I feel like, oh, that, oh my gosh. Sometimes
to let people know how you do know them, because I wanted to expand my network, and my sister-in-law refuses to join me in business, and so I friended all of her friends, and I actually have a large PC base through her, and so I have messaged some of her people just to say, hey, how do we know each other? Or, hey, I noticed that you're friends with my sister-in-law too. How do you know her? Kind of thing. Just try to strike up a conversation.
You're making a deposit.
To be honest, we're all Facebook stars.
Yeah,
We all-
exactly.
I mean, you're watching
Yeah.
somebody that is a friend of somebody else, and you see their posts, or you see what they're talking about, and you want to jump out of that box and say, look, I've watched you. You're a very inspirational person. You're a very positive person. I think you'd be an awesome business partner, and just be honest. Let them know. Yeah, I stalk you.
There was a girl, and I think I used this last time. This girl, I really liked her style in real estate. Like, she was doing videos. She's very exciting. I just love what she posts. And I just reached out to her and just said, you know what, I really love your style. I would just love to have coffee with you. And not even mention the business. And then I told her what I did, and then that's how we connected, and I just, sometimes people just want to connect with other professionals too. And then you bring up, it may not be for you, but I'm confident that you have a great network that you can refer me to someone else. And then they'll be like, well, why wouldn't
you want me?
It works. It really does.
Well, that kind of goes into something else Bob says, is that your contacts with people, your conversation should be 90% not your business, 10% your business. So you need to remember that, not always just throw out that Rodan and Field when you're talking to
I
people.
struggle with making a point when people ask me what I do to mention my business, because I work very full time when I'm at work, and a lot of people want to have that conversation with me about what I do in my full time job. How do I not sound creepy stalkerish or like creepy, pushy direct marketing salesperson when I have that conversation that I want to bring up Rodan and Fields? I just struggle with how do I do that.
Katie, you have both.
I'm really bad at it too, honestly.
I would say I own my own business.
Yeah, I do. Usually I say I work very part-time as a nurse, and I own my own business or something to that effect, or I have my own side business, and then people want to say, what business do you do? Yeah, and then you can start the conversation. I try to be vague about it on purpose. Right. Well, yeah, let them dig. Let them.
Well, like me, so when people ask me what I do, and so it was funny. Yesterday, I met up with one of my stepbrothers that I haven't talked to in probably 20 years. And he's like, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a police officer. I'm in the Marine Corps Reserves, and I'm a business owner. I put the exclamation point on the last part, as a business owner. And immediately he asked the question, well, what kind of business do you own? And so I just went into that. The first thing that I give to everybody when I put that exclamation point on, I'm a business owner, and I go into that. So it tends to help when you can do that, when you put that exclamation point on the end. And some people I know lead off with, well, I'm a business owner and I do this. But people always hold on to the last thing you say. So put the exclamation point at the end with, and I own my own business.
And I think for you, you do want to be home with your babies. You want a plan B.
I know, but I have to be careful about that.
Well, when you're at work, it depends on your audience.
Yeah.
But you can also say, you know what? We want to have some more choices in my family.
Did who do a call?
And this business is allowing us to have those choices.
Yeah.
Your husband stays home. They don't need to know exact details why, but that's just making it a little bit easier for one of you to be at home.
Yeah. So that's typically what I go with.
Right.
Is if I used it to help replace my husband's income from when he lost his job.
Right.
They don't need to know.
So that he can stay home. So that he can stay home with our babies.
Right. And that's what we have to be careful too with AJ. A lot of people know that we're working towards retiring and sooner than later. And, we want to be careful of that because there are some things he still wants to do with his job. Maybe not. We're just making those decisions right now. But they know that we are going to be able to have choices. So he can say, you know what, my wife started this business, I joined her, and now we don't have to think that this is going to take us 20 years to enjoy retirement. I'm going to finally have choices for once in my life about what I do and how I spend my time. So I think that's huge.
Well, Bob had mentioned once too, you can always say, well, this is what I do, like my full-time job, and I love the members, I love the people I work with, I love the actual work. But I find it getting stressful at this age to do that kind of work. And then, so I have a side business too, that helped us, take care of the debt. And my husband wasn't working and all of that kind of stuff, so you can kind of pull them in that way.
And if you don't have a story yet, it's okay to use someone else's story to kind of say, you know what, and be honest. You know, like
Third party validation.
What?
Third party.
Yeah, and that's when you can bring in that a video, like a third party video we did, or you can bring in my partner saying, you know what, my friends are doing this. You know, if there's someone on our team that would relate better with them, maybe they are a nurse and they want to cut back. Maybe they are in the military and they want to have some business. That's what you can network with them and have them do a call for you too. So, yeah. All right, so I think what we're going to do, we've got about a half an hour. I want to actually have you guys take paper and markers, and I want to spend some time, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes, going through, like writing out your network like she did, so your family, and then branch off, and then write some names that come to mind. So you might need your cell phone, you might need your Facebook, and we're going to kind of look to see which categories maybe we're missing. So this will help you to actually take this list home, and then you guys can work on that list this week. Because I do think we forget, even with our kids, like, you know, you can go with Zach. Zach's got a whole other network that you really haven't tapped into. Lots of, you know, former military people who want a choice.
Somebody called me from back in the hospital days. She's retired from the Marines and now she's working in Charlottetown.
Perfect.
Just, you know, one of those that have been watching.
The best is when ex-boyfriends' parents, moms call you to order.
All right, so we're going to go ahead. Some people have to leave, but we'll give you paper and markers. And if you're at home, I haven't seen any of the chat questions, but I don't know if you can even see it on here. Always connect with us on Facebook and ask us questions.